Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart. So everybody that Katt sat right here and told you about, everything he was saying was on the up and up. No one's saying he's lying. I can't wait to see your next interviews with those people.
They ain't coming on now, Mo.
For years, the public narrative around Katt Williams was simple and dismissive. The narrator explains how he was framed as a bitter outsider, someone who couldn't handle being left behind by an industry that moved on without him. Every interview clip, every viral rant, every controversial moment was packaged as proof that he had lost it. In the video, the audience is reminded how laughter followed his name, not curiosity. Social media reduced his warnings to punchlines, looping clips stripped of context, turning serious accusations into entertainment. The narrator emphasizes that this reaction wasn't accidental, it was convenient. By laughing at him, people didn't have to listen. They didn't have to ask uncomfortable questions. The more outrageous he sounded, the easier it was to write him off. And so, for years, his words floated in the background like noise, ignored and mocked, while the industry continued untouched. But the narrator hints that this setup matters because history has a pattern of treating truth-tellers like jokes, right up until the moment reality forces everyone to stop laughing.
Because what I think it is that everybody just wants to see him take an L on this one. And I'm just trying to figure out why. Why does everyone have such a vested interest in seeing Katt Williams take the fall for this or go down for this or be responsible for this or set it up or done this or done that? And the only thing that makes sense to me is oh, y'all want him to be bad because Diddy is still in jail. You know, Rock Nation is looking really bad, and all of you Illuminati people, you know, you're all looking real bad right now. So y'all need the people that pointed it out to look even worse, don't you? That's what makes sense to me. That's what I see. And it's kind of disgusting because in my opinion, there's a lot of people that should be speaking up for Katt right now that's not. There's a lot of people on that tour that probably should have had something else to say other than what's being said.
The narrator shifts focus to the moment everything intensified, January 2024. The video walks through how Katt Williams sat down on Club Shay Shay and instead of softening his tone, did the opposite. He named names. Not small names, not fringe figures, but some of the most powerful and protected people in entertainment. Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, Kevin Hart, names that rarely appear in accusations without consequences. The narrator describes how the internet reacted instantly, not with investigation, but with mockery. Clips were chopped, memes exploded, and commentary channels framed the moment as a meltdown rather than a warning. What stands out in the narration is the silence that followed from the people mentioned. No direct denials, no interviews, just distance. The narrator points out that this silence didn't slow the ridicule, it fueled it. At the time, it felt like the final nail in Katt's credibility. But the video makes clear that this was only the surface reaction, not the full story that was quietly forming underneath.
We'll go to the parking lot, and I'll watch them all go up there. And, you know, they would be thinking I'm coming later. I would just be on the car having a grand old time, smoking and laughing and watching everybody who's going. And yeah, so you can't tell me what goes on because 5 hours later, I'm still in the parking lot when they come down. And, you know, just to see all them big time Hollywood men that I just watched go up there, they all come down off the shuttle and looking sad in the eyes, and all of them wearing Sean John and looking oily, and they all walk crazy like this, and their shoelaces were always untied. I don't know why. Their shoelaces were always untied. And then they would get in their car and they would drive off standing up, big boy, with their head out there. All of them. And I couldn't believe it. But one of the highlights of my Hollywood career,
Right.
you know. But you can't tell me, because I was there to see on both ends.
Hey, man, you know what's wild about
Yeah.
that? I'm wondering how many people would see, oh, man, these are jokes.
None of the people that was on the shuttle.
Right.
And they the only ones I care about.
The woman accusing Jay-Z also named
The narrator explains that behind the jokes, something else was happening. Instead of debating whether Katt was right or wrong, the conversation subtly shifted toward why so many people seemed invested in seeing him fail. In the video, the narrator lays out the idea that Katt wasn't being attacked because he was irrelevant, but because he was inconvenient. Every time pressure mounted elsewhere in the industry, attention was redirected back to him. The narrator highlights how blame was framed, suggesting that Katt was exaggerating, instigating chaos,
adjacent to or, traveling in the same circles as the person that's been selected to be this icon. Because let's just be very clear, he was selected, just like Diddy was selected. Question is by who? Now, for many years, I minded my business about a lot of things, but a lot of things came to me. I heard a lot of things. You got to remember, this was back when I was still trying to be amicable with the industry so that I could have my career, so that I could have my life, right? Everything that I worked for, everything that I sacrificed. Up until, what? 2016, 2017, I was still ignoring a lot of things. A lot of things. It wasn't until I couldn't ignore it anymore because I realized this ain't going nowhere. And then when I started seeing exactly how dangerous things had become, it was very simple. It's either you're going to speak up or they're going to keep getting away with it, or you're going to get handled up on regardless because you're not playing along the way you should be playing along. Like that's how this works. Like the people that get rewarded are the people that keep the secrets, the people that are quiet, and the people that lie for them. The people who get a pass are the people who pretend that like they don't know what's going on. And then the people that speak up are the people that, get persecuted, get framed, get trashed, are forced to go broke, that kind of. So, yeah, I cannot say that it was an overnight process.
or trying to distract from unrelated scandals. This framing allowed larger narratives to stay intact while one loud voice absorbed the backlash. The video describes how Katt himself pushed back against this, questioning why his credibility mattered so much to people with power. According to the narrator, this is where the story deepens. If Katt were truly meaningless, no one would care. But the intensity of the reaction suggested fear, not of him, but of what his words might lead people to uncover. And then, as the narrator ominously notes,
previous
With Jay-Z in his situation, as far as the early Jay-Z, you see him with Aaliyah Young, of course, goes to Dame Dash next. You see him with Foxy Brown. You see the maturation of Beyonce and him getting with Beyonce. You see Rihanna at a young age. Is it more so, and you were young as a singer, is it more so that, when you're in this industry, men are going to most likely talk and date their peers? And it's just that technically all the new rising stars at that time
Our
were
babies.
just young women, just young kids.
Babies.
Babies.
Being ran around by grown men.
There's a video of Rihanna winning an award, and she was thanking her parents. And Jay-Z, he stepped in and said, "Nah, she means to thank me." And he was being very overly aggressive. And you look at Rihanna's age at that time. You look at him. How much does power and influence, even for you? You were backstage, Song Cry, Unplugged. how much does power and influence come to those?
I was also a grown woman and I was pregnant and married. She was a kid. She was a kid. Yeah, I remember that. No, you need to thank me. That's kind of ballsy, isn't it?
When you look back at it, it's hypothetically, Jay-Z leaves the country right now. He goes Russell Simmons.
Yeah. He could.
Yeah.
He could do that.
He's a quiet man regardless, so it doesn't quite matter if he's here or not.
If you take people like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living our people, so how the they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, I think they'd go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars.
Man.
Liars are now the face of our culture.
The narrator transitions into what the video describes as a turning point, the public release of massive government files tied to Jeffrey Epstein. Millions of
The unsealed Epstein files have just dropped a bombshell that ties Jay-Z and Beyonce directly to Jeffrey Epstein's darkest secrets. These two are named in survivor testimony for taking part in horrifying human hunts deep in Africa's remote forests. So picture this: vulnerable young'uns released into the wilderness, then chased down with weapons, snarling packs of dogs, and even helicopters overhead. Survivors say Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't just watching, they were boots on the ground in Nigeria at least 3 times, laughing as they directed the chaos and even stepping in to finish off cornered victims in what witnesses call ritualized brutal slayings. There's talk of skin being taken as trophies. Nigerian police built a solid case from survivor accounts, but then high-level embassy contacts out of Washington shut it all down. Officers got transferred or pushed into early retirement, but one brave voice is still speaking out, risking his life.
There are no official documents tying her to it. But in today's world, accusations
pages, once sealed, suddenly opened for scrutiny. The narrator explains how this document dump wasn't just large, it was destabilizing.
Emails that were found in the Epstein files where he tells Jeffrey to bring along his hair. Now, guys, his team says that he never would have said that if he fully understood the context in which he was talking to Jeffrey and Epstein about all of this. Except I'm pretty sure he understood the context because these emails were from 2013 and Jeffrey Epstein had already been convicted in 2008. And Branson is trying to email him a PR memo on how he can spin his 2008 conviction. So I'm pretty sure he was aware. Advises Jeff to see if he can get Bill Gates to say that he mentored him, and advises Epstein to say that he just slipped up after sleeping with a 17-and-a-half-year-old woman because the and a half makes a difference. And he's been punished for it and he's learned his lesson, obviously. Jeffrey responds thanking him for his PR advice. There are other emails from Richard Branson to Jeffrey Epstein, like this one where he asked him to bring his 2 Russian girls along, but I digress. He also has a history of harassing women, but don't worry guys, he doesn't remember the harassment. But I think his interview with Conan shows exactly how he felt he could treat women. Now, I can't show this entire interview. It's over 10 minutes long, and some of the things he says in it, you can't show on this app.
Where does he live? Does this work for you? Does this work for you wherever you go? Only a billionaire could walk in the room, grab Salma Hayek, and throw him on the lap. She got you to take your clothes off, so I thought, you know. Everyone gets their own television set, is that right? Yes.
Now, you give me a job if this movie doesn't do well. Please go see it. It's wonderful.
Isn't she lovely? Yes, very nice. I hate your life, by the way. You've got $1 billion. Why do you also have to have Salma Hayek massaging you, pal? How can you go further with the airlines?
We like to make it fun. Going to turn the Mile High Club into a legitimate thing, and we're going to put double beds on the planes. It's going to be an all-night affair for people like Salma and her
English boyfriend. You touch her one more time, I'll rip your head off, pal.
I've seen people say that Conan was serious about that, but the interview goes on. Richard Branson asks Salma Hayek what her first time was like. And Branson also discusses his modeling agency where he had Kate Moss sign up when she was a child, saying he wanted to keep in the theme of his company's name. So signing up young girls that were, I am appalled after seeing all of this today and how long it was allowed to go on when he acted this openly and brazenly in the public eye.
Branson has since said Epstein's actions were wrong and that he supports justice for victims.
Long whispered about appeared in official contexts. Connections once dismissed as coincidence now had paper trails. The video emphasizes how viewers began revisiting Katt Williams' old statements with new eyes. Things that once sounded wild now sounded specific. The narrator carefully avoids declaring guilt, instead focusing on the shift in perception. The question was no longer whether Katt was serious, but how much he might have known and when. The timing, the language he used, and the patterns he described suddenly aligned with what the files suggested. The narrator underscores that this moment reframed the entire conversation. Katt was no longer a punchline, he was a reference point. And for the first time, people weren't laughing, they were reading.
Quick cup of tea, with warm language praising Epstein.
Now, in your book, you devote some time to his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, and I just wonder whether she's in danger as a world-class grifter as well, because the emails of Jeffrey Epstein show her acting absolutely appallingly, and not just on the sensational stuff, helping to set up meetings between that pedophile and her own goddaughter, for heaven's sake, and also her own daughters, and telling Epstein of another woman that you may marry her too, she's single, she has a great body, okay, well, marry me, and then we'll employ her. But then again, there's the financial links, with one email from Epstein saying he'd supported her financially for 15 years, Andrew. What did she do for him in return?
Well, Sarah Ferguson gave Epstein the sort of entree into Andrew and into the royal family. But who knows? I mean, there's still a lot more to come out. But you're absolutely right. Sarah Ferguson is a material witness to the king, to what was going on in Epstein's home. She was often a regular visitor there, and she should certainly be testifying to the Senate. But there's also HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, should be looking at her. The Companies Act, I think she broke. The charitable laws, charitable things that she broke running her charities. So I think she's definitely worth investigation as well, and she should certainly be questioned about the misconduct in public office, as should his daughters, who accompanied him on many of these trips and used these trips to basically get contacts which they're now exploiting themselves.
As the narrator continues, the video zooms in on the shockwave caused by familiar names appearing in uncomfortable proximity to the Epstein network. The narrator explains how Jay-Z, a figure often described as untouchable, became part of renewed discussion after references to old allegations.
I will talk about what I've experienced, and what I've experienced is sitting in front of Katt Williams at his own house, $3 million mansion in Malibu. And this man told Tory Hart exactly what Kevin Hart did in order to be where he's at. Now, I don't know if it was Kevin that pissed him off. I don't know who it was that pissed him off. But I do understand that the comedy world is nothing to play with. And it's like, Kevin doesn't want to be a dinosaur. He's really a velociraptor. And some people are actually T-Rexes. And we have a system to break in this universe. Now, if I keep going with this posting that everyone's privy to, it's going to unlock certain systems in the universe that prove that dinosaurs are actually not extinct. That's what Katt knows. He knows the inner workings of how people turned into huge comedians. And I guess,
he says Kevin is an industry plant.
No, man. I mean, Kevin is a dinosaur, and I can't, I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. He's Frankie Lyman.
He warned that powerful people would.
In the final expanded point, the narrator brings the story full circle. Old warnings, once dismissed, are replayed, particularly comments from Kanye West, who openly accused major figures of lying and protecting themselves. The narrator explains how these statements were once used.
I want to control the world. There's something involved that's outlandish that they keep a secret. That's always been the case with secret societies. I mean, that's the whole Eyes Wide Shut thing, that there's some freak shit going on behind the scenes to anybody that really wants to control everything. You don't just want to control everything. You want to control everything so you can get away with some freak too.
Right, I'm saying, but these Epstein-like characters have existed throughout history, whether they were kings or what, human beings are human beings universally. So everybody is a supplier. Epstein, Weinstein, like these guys knew what these extremists liked and provided it, and provided the way for you to to have $1 billion and not create a fantasy island type environment.
With an unresolved tension. In 2026, the world may finally see accountability, or it may witness how easily influence absorbs scandal and keeps moving. And that uncertainty, the narrator suggests, is exactly why Katt Williams' words refuse to disappear.